Hey, hopefuls. Here it goes. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Sometimes. Okay. Living room continues. And we're talking hidden clutter. So, hidden clutter, if you've ever said or thought, I'll deal with it later. I'll just tuck it in here. Or if you've been to someone's house and maybe they said, oh, yeah, come on and just don't open that door, that drawer, that cabinet, that whatever, right? Like, and it's not just maybe a safety concern, because if you open the coat closet and it's so crammed in there that things will attack you, but it's also a functioning stressor. So if you're in the living room, let's say you have a coffee table with some drawers, and you get that call, especially if you get that call like, hey, we're in the neighborhood, we're going to stop on by. And you're like, oh, great. Yay. And then you just do this, right? Everything gets dumped in that drawer. Looks great on the surface, but we're creating the hidden clutter, the I'll deal with it later clutter, the out of sight. So therefore it becomes out of mind. I don't know about you, but more often than not, if I put something away and it's not something I use consistently or actively put it away. So if I do that arm swipe thing, there's no later. Later is not a thing. Later is a figment of my imagination when I'm going to deal with stuff. So you can shove it and hide it and deal with it later, but it doesn't make it go away. It just moves your stress somewhere else. So then next week when the coffee table's full again and you have to do that swipe, guess what else is full? That drawer. Now you're like, okay, well, I got another drawer swipe. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll deal with it on the weekend. Instead of now, it's fine. It's out of sight. It doesn't matter. But over time, not only does the out of sight become like takes up the space to make other things become out of sight, but it also doesn't leave your head. It doesn't mentally be decluttered just because you can't see it. It doesn't mean it's not there. I'm a non-visual organizer in most spaces. I know my stuff is in there, right? I know my coats are in the hall closet, even if the door's closed. So if you know you arm swiped the coffee table into a drawer, you know it's in there. Now your excuse may be, I'm going to deal with it later, but are you? And then when you don't deal with it later, maybe you do. But even if you don't, that's setting up for system collapses. That's setting up for stress just because you aren't dealing with it. Often clutter happens because it's a decision we don't want to make. It's a minute we don't want to take. We don't actively want to participate in, oh, what do I do with this? I put it here. Instead, we're like, I'll deal with it later. And that in itself is making a decision to have clutter and stress tomorrow. Because you aren't going to take the time right now to deal with it. And I know some of you just went, I don't even have time right now. I understand that. But if you're making the excuse of I'll deal with it later, but you don't actually deal with it later, it's not getting you anywhere. It's not building that realistic, organized systems for a less stressed life. It's just adding stress for tomorrow. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to deal with the stress I have today, let alone tomorrow. I don't want to make the next day, the next week, the next month worse. That doesn't sound fun. I don't want to have a panic anytime somebody's like, oh, we're in the neighborhood. Can I just stop by? Yeah, sure. And then that chaos happens, right? I don't want that. No one should live like that. It is stressful. You don't need it. And it's overwhelming to think, oh my gosh, what if my parents call? What if my friend wants to stop by? What if my kid's friends wants to stop by? And then you have to have that panic of swipe and go clutter systems instead of just a system. So if it can take you 5 minutes to pick up your living room in the evening, and then you have a habit in place, you don't have the overwhelmed panic kick in. Sure, somebody may call and you'll be like, oh, crickets, I better fold the blankets now instead of in 2 hours when I was heading to bed. Fine. Somebody might call and you were like, fine, we'll put the coats away where they go instead of the ones that got dropped on the chair. Or the shoes, or the sunglasses, or the hats, or the bags, or the whatever. If it doesn't have a system, It doesn't matter if you hit it an hour later, you need the system. If you don't have a system, that swipe and go problem is a high probability to happen. Because you don't have a system in place, you don't know that, okay, it may be messy now. We're lunch timing, it's summer break. We're doing these activities. This is what our day looks like. But I have a system in place that says we got a 5, 10 minute, 15-minute cleanup in the evenings. Right before dinner, this gets put away. Before bed, this happens. Those are part of the systems. That's why it's a 3S method, because you have to get rid of the stuff. Everything needs a home, and you need the system, the sustaining part, to put things back where they go. So you don't have those arm sweeps if somebody calls. So you don't have that, don't open the door. So you don't have the, oh no, I've swiped the coffee table into this drawer too much and now I can't get it open. Then you don't have the mental space of going, I know I have to deal with that drawer. And then when we get in our own heads, we've like, I know I have to deal with that drawer. Oh my God, it's going to take forever. It's going to take all day. No, it's not. It's really not. It's going to take maybe 15 minutes, because you're going to open the door. You'll be like, need it, don't need it, need it, don't need it, need it, don't need it. And then you're going to be done with it. Everything that doesn't be needed, it either gets rehomed, it gets put in those baskets to be taken upstairs to the kids' room, it gets put in the trash because you really didn't need it. Why did I arm sweep empty water bottles and gum wrappers into the drawer instead of just take them to the trash? Instead of that system of, oh, I see that, on my way I go. It's annoying. It's annoying to be the responsible adult. It's frustrating. There are multiple times your face and or you out loud may say, why couldn't you just? But that means there needs to be a hard conversation and a system communicated. At a conversation, I had a friend message me. She's like, why do I feel like I need to thank people for cleaning up after themselves? And I was like, well, how are you hardwired? What's your programming? Is your programming telling you that there's clutter and messes and it's your responsibility to not inconvenience anybody else? So if they left the cups on the table or the remotes out or the blankets all over the place, you assume it's your responsibility to handle it. You don't want to inconvenience them. You don't want to take up their time. They're busy. They're stressed. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever our programming is, especially if you're my generation or older, it is trained. It is our responsibility to keep it tidy. And so I need to thank you for taking effort to actually handle your own stuff. And I kind of told her like that. Because it's not our responsibility. If we share a house, a space, a home, a living room with people that are of the age and abilities to handle their stuff, they need to handle their stuff. Sometimes that's a repetitive conversation. Hey, instead of continuing to leave your cups on the coffee table, take them to the kitchen when they're empty. All right, you don't have to take them when they're empty, but when you get up off your butt, when you're done gaming, when you're done playing the movies, when you're done going to bed, when you're heading that way, this needs to be done first. It's the same concept of turn off the light when you leave the room. Sure, it may take 30 extra seconds because you got to walk by the sink. But the conversation needs to be had, because hiding the clutter is not going to work. Hiding the clutter is not a system. Hiding the clutter is still stress because it's in your brain. Telling yourself you're going to do it later. Or you can do something you enjoy later. Or you can get a book, come swimming, do something you like. Now, if you're like, I don't mind cleaning up and I like this a certain way, do you really? Would you rather do something other than follow people around and make sure that they're doing these things? Don't deal with it later. Don't add to your mental exhaustion and overwhelm for tomorrow. If we are not sure of a system, not sure of a habit, that's why we have all the tools of Hopeful Simplicity. We have the freebies. We have the declutter challenges. So if you're like, I know there's too much stuff, and I know you just told me not to tuck it behind the cabinet. I'm not going to put it in the baskets on the shelf. I'm not going to put it in the drawers. I'm not going to just stuff it somewhere. But what do I do with it? That's why we have a declutter challenge. Okay, well, I got rid of everything. But how do I know what systems will work for us? That's why we have an organizing challenge. There's all the tools in there. So whichever step you're on, I need to get rid of stuff. I need to give things a home. I need to keep it this way. There's a option for you. There's freebies even for the living room. It's part of the core 4 rooms. And living room is June. We're midway through June, just over midway. So you can even get the full resets, including the sustaining chart. So you can plug and play what habits need to be done on the whichever time frame, daily, weekly, up to monthly and yearly. You can even plug those in there. And it's half off this month. So it's like $4.50. You get the whole living room reset guide. And you can start where you are. Be like, okay, I know I have a bad habit of hidden clutter. So today I'm going to tackle this drawer. I'm going to get everything out of here that does not serve us. Tomorrow, I'm going to make sure that what lives in this drawer we actually use and has a home and has a sustainable step in place. And the next week, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to check back into the store, make sure it's working. Make sure that, hey, we had this conversation that we are maintaining this drawer. It is for remotes. It's not for your empty cups. It's not for you to put your dishes in so you don't have to take it to the sink. It's not for video game controllers. It is for my TV buttons. It's not for your books, your magazines, your extras, whatever may land in the living room, which is a high foot traffic zone. It carries a lot of people's stuffs. So maybe you need to address the zones you have. Do you have like with like sorted into zones of accessibility? If you've got littles, their toys are not going up on the shelf. Their toys are going in a basket on the floor. If you've got from here to here age, they get those 2 shelves on the bookcase for their stuff. Right? So make sure the zones that you're doing are set up for the people and their things participating in that space. And yes, those conversations are hard. And yes, sometimes you have to say it again and again and again. So yes, just let me know. I will be your cheerleader. It may come with some sass and snark, but we'll get you there. And all the free tools or low buy-in tools are available for you, including the 30-day free trial to the library. Plug, play, let's go. You can just plug in whichever step you're on, whichever space you're working in, just plug it in and work with me. And you get all the tools to go with it. So yes, hidden clutter. We're not tackling it later. We're tackling it today. And that's it for now. Until next time, stay hopeful,